Hello, everyone. Today we have our amazing Emma Carter today, who's a rapid transformation therapist who's on a mission to change and transform lives, which she already does. And I'm so grateful, Emma, you've joined us today, and I'm really interested in knowing how you have been on this journey um, to transform and help your clients and people throughout your life, and you continue to do so. I'm really interested knowing how the subconscious mind works and how you're using the unique blend of hypnotherapy and therapeutic skills to help your clients. So, welcome, Emma.
Thank you so much, Manjit. It's nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'm really interested to know more about you, Emma. And it's nice you've been able to join us today because I'm sure our viewers will learn a lot more about Emma today and how you are impacting lives. So, tell me more about Emma.
I am loving what I'm doing. I'll start there. I absolutely love my job so much. I started my life as a very happy baby, contented, feeling loved. Yeah, everything was great. But over time, things started to change, and found I had doubts and fears. Um, and I'm not saying I didn't have a good childhood. I certainly did. And I had people around me that loved me and I was pretty much happy. But there was this underlying feeling that something was missing. Something was something wasn't quite right. And I carried on with my life and I did the best I could, even as a child. Always wanting to help people and keep people happy right from a very young age. But then as I started to doubt myself for whatever reason, I didn't realize at the time, that was affecting things around me. I ended up being bullied at school, age 11. That was quite a big step to go to a bigger school. And I don't feel like I possibly wasn't prepared for that. And I didn't feel like I fitted in at all. And being bullied when you don't feel like you fit in anyway, that just kind of gives another layer to the fact that you're not good enough. That's how I felt. I didn't feel good enough. I felt different. That was a big one for me. I felt different. I didn't know why I felt different, but I did. And every single time, everybody said something to me, and it upset me, it would, like I say, add that other layer. So that was difficult. But life has been pretty good. And on the outside, I looked like I was functioning perfectly. And I was, I've three amazing children. I've done some incredible things. I have pretty much enjoyed what I've done, but there was still this little niggling feeling that actually I still feel different. I still feel like I don't belong. And one day I think I was kind of getting so low inside, even though on the outside I felt like I was doing what I needed to do in the world. Something happened, and as my ego kind of dropped, I mean, I'd never heard of anything like near-death experiences, or I hadn't heard of spirituality or anything like that, but I was feeling low on the inside. And the most incredible thing happened. Something opened up to me that I wasn't aware of. It was, I can only describe it as like an amazing truth that made the world as I had seen it not quite what I thought it was. And this truth was like, it was just a whole oneness of love. And, I didn't know about oneness and the universe and we all connected. I didn't get that. I do more now, absolutely, but I didn't. So it was quite a shock to me. But this went on for months. Like the birds were connecting to the trees were connecting to the flowers, who were connecting to me, and they were talking to me. It sounds a bit crazy. They were talking to me, not in words, but in this incredible energy of love. And they were saying to me, it's okay, you're accepted. And I'd never felt that before. I mean, this was quite a few years ago. I'd never felt that feeling before. The problem was I couldn't really tell anybody about this. And I had to carry on functioning in the world as we know it, you know, being a mother, being a partner, being, you know, working with colleagues, etc., and family. I was still the person that they expected me to be, but I had experienced this thing that had just, oh my goodness, this is the truth. So I think that's what started my journey, really, of self-discovery. And since then, it's just been just one way to, wow, life is actually amazing. And there's no need for anybody to fear anything. So this is now my goal in life, to help as many people as I can to realise they don't need to feel different or not enough.
That's amazing, Emma. It's so it's so lovely that you've shared that experience. I love that. You know, the birds and the flowers, you know, it's not a crazy story, it's beautiful. You know, it's nature, it's part of us, it's all energy. When did the real transformation take place for you then?
So it began there, and I started buying books then. My bookshelf is full of books, and I read and I read and I read, because before that moment I didn't really understand what was happening, apart from this was an amazing thing. So yes, reading, and I did courses on things and helping my own mind and trying to understand life, I think. But it wasn't until RTT that I really, everything kind of fell into place for me at that point, because although I'd had this experience and I was still carrying on in life, everything was fine, there was still that thing. It was still there. Something is not quite fitting with me. And RTT, through the sessions and through the training, it all makes sense to me, because I managed to get rid of the fears and the self-doubt and the low self-esteem that I was carrying with me. The fears, fear of judgment, fear of criticism. I have been able to deal with that through RTT. And in the past, you know, I've been to therapy. I've tried many things to help myself. And I'm not knocking any of the various different approaches or any therapies. They all have their place. But RTT, it just got straight to the root cause. So under hypnosis, it found the actual point where this started in my life, a pinpoint. And I know exactly that moment in time when it started. By peeling back those layers under hypnosis, it got me to that point. When it did, crikey, the emotion that came out of me and the release of what I'd been holding, not realizing I'd been holding all of this in, was incredible. It was like somebody had taken the lid off the volcano. But once it was out, it's like such a weight off my shoulders. And looking back, I think perhaps I was scared of taking that lid off the volcano, just in case something came up. But now it has changed my life, because everything, it fits so much with what I believe, that we are all amazing, that we don't have to stick to the beliefs of other people. We don't need to do certain things or say certain things to fit in. You know, our parents, they give us their own beliefs and their own experiences, and that's how we're brought up, that's how we're taught. But also, we're our own people, and we all belong in this world. And sometimes parents or friends or colleagues or partners, we take in their own beliefs and ways of living their life, and it's not necessarily us. So once we can find ourselves, and I did find myself through RTT, I was able to eradicate all of those limiting beliefs. And now I fit with this whole oneness that I believe in. yet I'm able to live my life as we know it and be the best I can be.
That sounds phenomenal, Emma. I love that when you said taking the lid off the volcano. That is like, it's like you found peace under that volcano. So
Mm.
I'm sure our viewers are really interested to know exactly what is RTT, what is rapid transformation therapy?
So RTT it's rapid, it transformed lives, hence the title. But what it does, it combines various different types of healing. So CBT, NLP, hypnotherapy, psychotherapy. These are all great, they're all proven. But the way RTT does it does it in a way that it's combining all of these things. But the way it does it takes you back to that root cause. So under hypnosis, we're going back to that root cause. Where is it? Where did it go wrong?
That sounds really interesting, actually. And it's good to know that it's another type of therapy that people can actually use. But from your experience, when you've worked with people and how you've identified people's limiting beliefs, how did you did you have to convince yourself that it happened to me, now I'm now ready to transform lives? How did that come in play? And yes, you changed your life, but what is it that made you then think, actually, now I'm going to help others?
I just saw the change in me and I thought that is absolutely for me. So I was meditating one morning and this advert came up. It was on YouTube at the end of the meditation I was doing. And I don't like being sold to. And it's like, no, too salesy. I don't like that. That's not real. But it was an advert for RTT. Would you like to train? But the things that were being said, something in my mind, I was like, wow, that is actually fitting with everything that I've experienced, everything that I believe in. And something was telling me this was right. So I did make that decision. I went for it. I trained, and it just blew my mind. In my opinion, and it is just my opinion, but I know it's the opinion of lots of other people as well, this is the thing that is going to change the world. I feel so strongly about it that this is something that everybody should have access to. Again, I'm not dismissing any form of therapy. You know, I've been to traditional therapy in the past. It's really helped me. But RTT is kind of on a different level. You know, people can, all sorts of things people come to me for. It can be fears, it can be addictions, it can be just low self-esteem or fear of public speaking, so many things. But the difference is you're dealing with the root cause. You're not just treating the symptoms. You know, doctors are amazing. They have their place. There's medication. We're very lucky they can be treated. But if you can deal with the root cause and reframe that and turn that around, many of these symptoms don't even exist anymore. You know,
That's
the past.
so, yeah, that's so profound, actually. And a lot of people actually do think, like, I mean, I guess viewers may be interested to know, like, what happens in hypnosis and how is it different? Because a lot of people treat or know hypnotherapy as, like stage hypnotherapy.
The chickens on the stage. That doesn't happen. Yes, there's nothing that I can make anybody do. People come to me asking questions like that. You know, can you make me go and rob a bank? Or, you know, can you change the way I look and make me, you know, 5 stone slimmer? Or can you make my hair a different color? No, I can't do that. And actually, in hypnosis itself is just a very deep relaxation. You can't get stuck in hypnosis. It's a deep relaxation. So if you imagine our mind like an iceberg, so we have the tip of the iceberg, 5%. That's our chitter chatter, monkey, you're not good enough mind, the critical mind, we call it. Then we have 95% subconscious. And the subconscious has recorded everything, if you like, from birth, even before. You know, babies can still feel in the womb, they can hear in the womb. So it knows everything. The subconscious knows the truth. So by going deeper and bypassing that critical mind, we can then have a dialogue with the subconscious mind that knows exactly where it started. And it surprises my clients. It's like, that's why that moment there is where it started. And the layers build up every time something similar happens, and we take it into adulthood. And once it's in our adult lives, it affects our children, it affects our, families, again, people we work with, our friends, everybody around us, because we're carrying these limiting beliefs that aren't true. That's how we saw something as a child. It was age appropriate. That's fine. Any child would have thought the same in certain events. But if we look at it from an adult's point of view, we're then able to turn it around. So yeah, it is incredible. I love what I do. I see it happen every day. People's lives changing.
Yeah, I'm really fascinated about the subconscious mind and how it works, and you know, the iceberg is always visually that's very good to compare as well. But what biggest misconceptions do people have about their own power to heal, especially from their past traumas, which they think they live with, um, but they feel that it gets in the way of their happiness. So, why is it that people in this day and age still feel like they can still, they have to live with it? They don't have the power to deal with it.
I think one of the biggest things is a fear of judgment. And where does that take us, that fear of judgment? I think deep down we all inside feel that we are enough and we are amazing, which we are. Deep, deep, deep down inside, we feel that because that's how we're born. We are all amazing human beings. We are all equal. And somewhere along the journey of life, something happens. So yes, deep down we have this feeling, but are we allowing ourselves to truly believe that we are enough? What would happen if we believed that we were enough? Maybe I am enough. Maybe I am good enough. Maybe I could go out there and do what I want to do. But no, because then that person might not like what I'm doing. That person may not like me changing. And we have these fears. And that keeps us small. But we have no need to stay small. We are incredible people. If we can break the chains of our fears by looking at where they started, looking at them from an adult's point of view, my sessions, I'll give you an example actually. If a child is in the park, it falls over, hurts itself, really sad, crying, and the mother walks away. In that child's mind, it's hurt, it's sad. It thinks, my mum's walked away, she doesn't love me. So that must mean I'm not lovable. So that must mean I'll never be lovable. And that carries on all the time. We're looking for external recognition from people, external validation. So from just that one example, as an adult, if you feel unlovable, we need to be praised by other people. But actually we don't. We can praise ourselves. We can look after ourselves. If we rely on somebody else to praise us or say the right things to us, we might feel good for a while they say those things, but actually they can then change what they say to us, and all of a sudden our world falls apart. They have the power, if we're relying on them, to change how we feel. But if we can stay grounded in ourselves and just remind ourselves of how amazing we are, people's judgments, people's criticisms, they won't concern us because we know we're okay. And that's
Yeah,
what I
that's
want to do. Everybody, every single person in this world has a right to be okay, has a right to live the life they want to. And that is what I do. And I absolutely love
yeah.
it. I love it.
That's beautiful. I can absolutely see the passion, when you're speaking about that and how you love helping people. But I also want to know as well, through RTT, how have your relationships changed, or have they become better? Or what improvement, if any, took place with your friends, family, and your colleagues? Any shifts you notice? Because I guess I'm more interested to know like how it made an impact on your life and your relationships, because yes, we feel enough. We love ourselves, once we have this transformation take place. But also, I always, for myself, equally, I believe your family, friends, your children, they have that position in our life where we want to do good, like we want to be good around them as well. Like we want them to feel proud, I guess. And, again, that's probably seeking validation, but, it's, being out there and being a mother to three, like how did it change?
For me, I feel it was my change that actually changed what was happening around me. Um, for example, my children, they are amazing, but as a mother of three, they go through different stages in life, and sometimes it's frustrating. And but being able to understand myself, not need recognition from even my children. Sometimes we do. We want them to like us, we want them to love us, and but not needing that, and then just being able to see them as the amazing human beings they're turning into. It was a shift in me. The shift in me made a huge shift in our relationships, that I was able to speak to them on a completely different level. Um, those frustrations where in the past maybe I'd have come back a little bit too quickly or a little bit too sharp. I'm able to step back and think, they're learning. We're all learning, but they're learning as well. They have to push boundaries. They have to find their place in the world, and they have to love themselves too. So as a parent coming at children with no, 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 anger, 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 which at times, all parents are a little bit frustrated by children, but children are amazing. And I sorted myself out, and I was able to see them from a completely different perspective, really. I'm making out I was a bad mum. I wasn't a bad mum. I wasn't a bad mum. I was an amazing mum, actually. But yes, those frustrations, they're not frustrations anymore, because I was okay with myself. I felt good about myself, and that made me able to bring out the best in them as well. And even
Yes.
parents. I had a client the other day, and she said to me, do you know what? After our session, because we'd actually done dialogue with her, to one of the things that I do in sessions, where if there's a problem, for example, with a parent, you can have that conversation with a parent or a child or a bully, and just get some questions answered that have been building up. So by switching conversations, questioning, answering, there's kind of a release there that people have held in. So after this session, this lady said to me, do you know what? It's amazing. I called my dad after my session, and it was like he was a completely different person. And I said, but nothing's changed, has it? She goes, no, I think it's me. And I said, yes, yes. We don't hold on to that built up pressure, built up annoyance. Once it's released in
Wow.
a session, and yes, by changing ourselves, it does change the whole world around us, how we perceive it, how we react to it. Yeah.
How did that make you feel when she made that call to her father? Um, and it was thanks to your session.
Just so grateful that I have the privilege to help people like that. And once you've seen it, I've been through it myself, and the change in me is huge. It's really put everything into place for me. So now that I'm doing it, I'm going out there in the world and I'm helping these people. It just gives me so much pleasure, so much pleasure. And I just want to do this every single day of my life. I'm so grateful to have had the privilege to have helped her, which has helped other people in her life as well.
Yeah, no, that's, a lot of people that are stuck, they don't always want to reach out, but what advice would you give out to somebody who does feel stuck? Like, they're really unsure on how to move forward and how to seek help. What advice would you give?
I would say anything that you can do for yourself is amazing, is great. So just one small step at a time. Um, Compassion for yourself, I think, is really important. And yeah, just remember that you were born enough. You always were enough. You always will be enough. So let's just get rid of the little niggly bits in between that are stopping us living our best lives that we can. I mean, in the morning, I meditate for 20 minutes. It just takes away any negativity I may have woken up with, or a bad dream, or whatever, or looping thoughts. It gets rid of that. Nice, gentle music. Then I put on my powerful songs with positive words that are reaching my subconscious. So that becomes my vocabulary then. It sets me up for the day. I would recommend that to people. And also a gratitude list, which I do every night. And I'll be honest with you, in the beginning, I couldn't think of 5 things that I could write down that I was grateful. There were times in my life, through addiction and other things in my life where I felt like really low, and I'm like, oh, 5 things? That's hard. But just do it as a practice, because then it becomes normal, and it helps us to realize the abundance that we already have in our lives. Be grateful for the sunshine, water, food on our table, a nice bed to lie in. It doesn't have to be, I'm grateful for my new car. That car may be taken away. Just the things that we already have without the material things in our lives, friends that care about us, family that love us. These are all things that we should be making sure we're grateful for every day.
Emma, the person you were before RTT, what do you think you were so afraid of admitting to yourself?
That I might actually be okay as Emma, that Emma was safe, that Emma was good enough. I think by admitting that to myself, I risked it not being true in my own mind, which would then reinforce the fact that I wasn't good enough. So yes, I think the realization eventually, but the struggle was to think, yeah, actually, I'm as good as everybody else. They're as good as me. We're all the same. I have a place in this world. I can have whatever I want in this world. I'm entitled to anything, just like everybody else is. And yeah, as a child, I didn't feel that. I felt it wasn't available. I didn't belong. I wasn't good enough. I was different. So changing that was quite hard for me to believe that, do you know what? Here I am, little me. But there's a big wide world out there. Dare I go out there? And what's holding me back? So looking at what was holding me back, and that's been my journey, really.
What was the hardest?
Smashing those limiting beliefs that were holding me back. And RTT definitely was the thing that cleared that for me. Now I understand why I doubted myself.
Yeah, what would you say was the hardest belief to let go of during your transition through RTT? Because we live with this belief for most of our years, and yeah, and how did it change your life once you did let go of that belief? Can you pinpoint a belief?
It's quite a few, actually. So apart from the belief that I wasn't good enough, that was hard to let go of, but RTT did that quicker for me. I understood it. The belief that I don't need to take a substance to appear good enough. That was through my addiction times. The belief that I'm all right as I am, Emma's okay. She's not a bad person. She's all right. So yeah, to believe that about myself is a breakthrough. And it's been so profound that this has to now be my mission in life, to make sure everybody feels the same, because I shouldn't have felt the way I did. And now I
Yeah,
understand why I did. I'm able to see that and say, okay, that's why. That's not necessary anymore.
Yeah. So Emma, talking about your addiction, if you're comfortable to do so, how did RTT play a part for you during that time?
Huge part. I think addiction, it kind of ties into where I was feeling before. Like part of me knew that I was okay. This is a universe of love. We're all loved. But that didn't quite tally with the life I was leading, and certain things didn't feel true to me. So there was some blocks there. So the blocks were found during RTT. I've had to peel a few layers off myself, the onion, as people call it, to get to why or where things started. Addiction for me it's almost like it was alcohol for me. Addiction can be drugs, it can be shoes, it can be, porn, all sorts of things. But for me, it was alcohol. It's almost like alcohol was my friend that was missing. It was that piece of the jigsaw. There was something missing. It made me feel okay temporarily. I
Yeah.
mean, I remember at age 14, I took a glass of sherry from my mum and dad's drinks cabinet, and it made me feel confident, especially being bullied at school. It gave me that confidence to kind of carry on. And I didn't think about the consequences at the time when I was 14, but there were consequences. And I haven't been an addict all of my life. This happened to me very quickly. Having a drink we've had some good times. I've had some good times with my friends, but you tend to gravitate towards friends that drink as well. So you have a drink and then, oh, let's have another one. And, you encourage each other, which is not good. But for me, it happened very quickly. Again, I was struggling with things and I had that extra drink just to get me through the day kind of thing. So I was drinking, started to drink every night. And then it was, oh, it's a sunny day, I'll have a drink. Then it's always been a bad day, I'll have a drink. I'll have a drink to help me sleep. And that was like whoosh, straight down to the bottom. It wasn't anything pleasurable anymore. For me, a lot of addicts, I worked with a lot of addicts. It happened so quickly. And now I help people try and avoid the addiction part. There's so many people out there that are struggling, not struggling, they're coping, they're functioning, but they're drinking too much or they're gambling too much, or, once it becomes something that we rely on, which isn't serving us, that's when it becomes dangerous. And it's very hard to admit that you rely on something externally to help you function, but it is nothing to be ashamed of. I've met the most amazing people that drink too much. That I was a drinker over kind of a year. It was a problem. It hadn't been. But on that journey to recovery, I've met the most amazing people. They're not people sitting in the gutter, drinking cider with no home, miserable. I've met the most amazing addicts. They've just lost their way in life. They're amazing people. And they need to be met with kindness, not judgment. And they never
Thank
need
you
to go
so
what I
much.
went through, ever. Just reach out if you think you're doing it too much or having too much.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that and showing that vulnerable side to you because like you said, there's many people that suffer with this, but they don't have to, and they all need
They
to find
don't,
an Emma.
they don't need
Um,
to at all. No, no.
no, I mean, you've gone through absolute immense personal growth there. And if you could go back and speak to that younger self, the one that was feeling lost, disconnected, what would you say to her?
Ooh. I sit down beside her. I would tell her it's all going to be okay. I think that's what I needed to hear the most. It's all going to be okay. And she may ask me, you know, when will things change? And I tell her, not yet, but soon. Still makes me sad thinking of that little girl. She might ask me, well, how? How is it going to change? Who's going to save us? And I say, we save ourselves. We save ourselves. So yes, that's what I needed to hear. Everything will be okay. And one of the amazing things, actually, bringing it back to RTT, for any lost child, you know, during the session, once we've gone back to the child and the events and the memories, and tears, you know, tears do come up, the emotions released. We don't leave that child there. We can merge them with ourselves. So we bring them into our world and we become the loving parent to our younger selves. We give them the praise that they always needed. Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing. That happened to me in RTT. So little Emma's
Yeah,
saved.
that's beautiful, Emma. How do you think forgiveness plays a part, like whether it's for yourself or others? What role does forgiveness play in the transformational journey?
I think it's very important to forgive. There are certain situations, you know, abuse is wrong. I'm not saying we should forgive everybody for everything, but also seeing people as all amazing people. And people are the way they are because of their inheritance, their environment, you know, the way they've been brought up, what they've seen, what they've gone through, and their surroundings, you know. So I think people generally do their best, whether they're in survival mode or, you know, if a parent beat up a child, that child, that's all it knows. It is handed down. We need to break that chain. We need to break that cycle, and see the people that hurt us, if we can, with eyes of love as well, if we can, and just understand that they did their best. Parents, I'm using as an example, they did their best. May not have been good enough. A child's needs may not have been met, but they would have done their best. And that's why I like a dialogue with the hurter in our sessions. It just gives the client a chance, really, to ask the questions. Why did you leave me alone those 3 nights when I was 5? Why didn't you do this for me? Why did you think it was okay to call me those names? And then they answer as the parent, and they get the answers. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, sounds incredible. Like, how do you find that with your if you reflect on your journey on your self-doubt and battling with the addiction and insecurities, how do you actually feel so empowered and so so confident, knowing that you've been through these struggles, and the person you've become today? Were those struggles necessary? And what what is Emma today because of those struggles?
I think no, they weren't necessary. If I'd have known what I know now, absolutely, that would have changed the way my life went. You know, I wouldn't have struggled with relationships or, you know, go from career to career, trying to find something. I would have known, excuse me, a lot more about myself. But we're not always in that position to have experienced that, where we can change so early on. So in a way, my experiences they help me to help others because I've been through it. I understand it. I've been in all those different places that people are struggling with. So I can feel it. I have that empathy. Yeah, it's very important to believe in yourself, and that's very hard sometimes if you're particularly brought up in an environment where these limiting beliefs can form quite easily. So I would just, I'd advise anybody to invest in themselves. I think it's one of the best things you can do. We buy holidays, cars, shoes, clothes, all sorts of things try and make us feel better. But actually investing in yourself and taking a bit of time out for yourself and, reach out for therapy. And I love RTT. I think you can tell that. I think it's absolutely amazing. But there are things that you can do for yourself as well as reaching out in that way. You can look at, what is this feeling that I'm feeling? Why am I feeling that? When did I first start to feel that? What was happening in my life at that time? Is that why I'm feeling that now? Maybe just take that time out just to go within and just feel certain emotions.
Yeah, I mean,
Did I
it's
answer
just,
your question there, or did I just
yeah,
go?
no, 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 100% you did. You did. It just, it just, you can see the passion that you have for RTT, and that brings me on to my next question. That how do you think your experience with RTT, how it influences with the work you do with clients today? And can you share some real impactful transformations that have taken place with your clients? Any examples you can give to our viewers today?
Ooh, which ones? I think addiction is always it's always great to see that transformation, because people come to me, acting a certain way, being a certain way, and they're obviously really struggling, particularly with substances. It's very difficult. They'll come to me and they'll be like, I can't carry on. But they've actually made that step and realised they're powerless over their addiction. And to see that transformation is huge. When we've found out why they're actually drinking, why do they feel the need to have 2 glasses of wine before they go out and continue drinking through the night? I'm using alcohol. That's what I experienced, but any addiction, why do they need to do it? So going deep into those root causes really helps addicts, and they see why those beliefs that they formed about themselves has affected their lives and addiction. So yeah, people, I'm just going to say here something about addicts. I did mention it before, but any addict generally is reluctant to give up the thing that they think is helping them. It's almost like it's their best friend, but it's not. It's their enemy. So to reach out and come forward is an incredible thing. You said one story in particular. I help a lot of people that have had children that have either been in the workplace before, had careers, had children, and have lost their voice, lost their sense of self-worth. They're nurturing their children, great, amazing, great mothers. But that fear of going back out into the workplace and dealing with bosses, or even starting your own business, or they find that very hard. So I did have a lady, she had twins, they're about 6 months old, and she'd had a great career. And she just couldn't get back into the workplace. There's all things that come up, like guilt of leaving your children and many different things. But now she is not only an amazing mother, but she's completely changed her career. She's doing something that she always wanted to do, and she is being incredible out there in the world, helping people too. I can't say her name, but if you looked for her, you'd be able to find her. But she's doing absolutely amazing. So stories like that just warm my heart. I love it. I love it. And I will do this for the rest of my life. I want to help as many people as I can.
Yeah, no, I can tell, Emma. It's
Sorry,
shining through,
I'm a bit over
shining
enthusiastic.
through right
I
now.
just
No.
believe in it, and I'm just excited about what we can do. Yes.
With regards to your career, Emma, and the various roles you've taken, how do you think your belief how do you believe like your upbringing has shaped your beliefs around money and success? Because you don't help I guess you help people from, various areas, and money and success. normally crops up, doesn't it? Like possibly did for your client that you saw that had children. She
Did, yeah.
wanted to feel that success.
Yeah, money, that's a strange thing, really. People, again, it comes back to usually childhood, it could be adulthood, but childhood beliefs that are formed because, when they hear money doesn't grow on trees, or it's dirty money, or, I think people, it's going back to your question, I was brought up in two different families, so I would spend half the time with one family and half the time with the other. Two very different ideas on money. So one was you will feel a sense of self-worth and you will be seen as being successful. If you work really hard, you do the best you can, you put everything into your job or making money, that's when you'll be seen as successful. And it's hard work. But that's how you do it. The other side, well, people that have money, they're taking it from the poor. Well, people that have money, they don't care about people. Basically, that they're bad people. So this side was like, well, we have food, we have a roof over our head. Why would you want to go out and make money? So my mind was conflicted. So I need to go out, I need to earn money, I need to work hard. But people that do that are not good people. So I was kind of in between. So I had to see, I did have to look at the way I saw money. If we give our services, if we give something to somebody that they need, we are paid in the form of money. That is not a bad thing. It's like an energy. It's a giving and a receiving. Like we give and receive a breath. You give too much, it feels uncomfortable. If you don't take anything back, it feels uncomfortable. And that's the way of nature. It's a balance. If somebody, oh, I'll mow your lawn for you. Oh, actually, I've got some hedge trimmers you said you wanted. I'll cut your hedge for you. It's a similar thing. It's just that, we don't need to see it as a bad thing. So yes, I do help a lot of people with money blocks. Yeah,
I mean,
alongside
that
imposter syndrome, things like that. Yeah.
that must have been difficult for you, I guess, to have two views in your childhood because your
Mm.
subconscious beliefs are formed, I guess, up to the age of 7, and to have like two different upbringings, even if in your teenage years. How difficult was that?
It was hard. It was hard. I think I've always been a carer. I always want to help people. I always want to bring the best out in people. So there's kind of I'm pretty, what's the word? Humble, quiet, kind of, just sit back and just want to help people and be nice. But then having that, you've got to go out there, work hard, make money, be seen. Yeah, that wasn't quite fitting. So yes, it was difficult, but actually money isn't a bad thing. It isn't about money. It's about being authentic, being yourself, helping the world, and being a positive force in the world. And if money flows one way or the other, it does. But that isn't what we're all about. We are
Yeah,
unique. We are amazing. We are in this world together as genuine human beings. That's what life is about.
I believe that we are amazing, and you are
Yeah,
absolutely amazing,
you're
Emma. So
amazing.
what's new for Emma? What's on the what's happening your way now? I know you're making these profound changes, transformations throughout, your journey with RTT, which I can tell you are extremely passionate about. But what's next for Emma?
I just want to reach out to as many people as I can. That is my mission. Everybody needs to know about this, in my opinion. I think this is amazing to help people. It works, it's fast, and sorry, I'll try not to keep going on about it, but yes, I am passionate. I'm planning on a book coming out probably in the next 3 or 4 months. So that's exciting. So I can't say the title yet, but that's exciting. And yeah, various projects and groups and webinars will be coming out. So yeah, very excited, very excited.
Emma, this conversation has been incredibly insightful, and you have shared so much knowledge about RTT, about the subconscious mind, and you know, our listeners have taken some powerful tools, and how they can transform their lives and how RTT can help. You know, I'm absolutely grateful for you to joining us today. But before we wrap up, is there any final message or any piece of advice you would like to give our audience?
Just know that you're amazing exactly the way you are. There is nothing you need to change about yourself. Love yourself. Know that you're enough. Absolutely. Know that you are enough and you are loved unconditionally. That is so important and it's so true. And
Yeah, thank
if we're
you.
struggling to believe that, there is help to help you get back to that feeling and knowing that you are love, that you are lovable. So yes, believe in yourself. Do everything you can to take care of yourself because we are amazing people.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Emma. It's been an absolute joy having you with us and sharing your
Being
journey,
here.
you know, which is totally amazing. I mean, you know, what a phenomenal journey you have had. And you know, how can our listeners connect with you, you know, learn more about your work as well, because it just doesn't stop here.
It doesn't stop here. No, there'll be plenty more on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Connect with me in that way. Um, yeah, there's a marketplace I'm on. There's various things, but probably put those in the chat, and then if anybody wants to connect, they can do that, and that'd be great to hear from you. So yeah,
Oh,
thank you, Manji. It's
thank
been
you so
amazing. Thank
much,
you so
Emma. It
much.
has been amazing. I love
It
to
really
know more
has.
about.
Yeah,
Thank you. Hopefully, we will connect soon, Emma.
definitely. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.